future. Let's protect it.
Well, good morning once again on the Mix 94.7 KMCH Morning Show. I'm Mike Johnson. Today on the Guest of the Day segment, we're going to talk with Marcel Kielkucki, the principal at Beckman Catholic High School in Dyersville. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mike. Good to see you again.
Yes, you too. And, most recent school board meeting, you moved it up a little bit because of yesterday being Ash Wednesdays.
We did. So we met last Wednesday on the 10th. Had a couple of things that we discussed at that meeting. The biggest piece for us was working on approving our budget for the next school year. As I think I talked about a little in January, a lot of planning for next year is done at this time of the year. So that was one of those pieces as well. So we one of the things we do is we have to set our tuition rates by the end of February due to the Student Tuition Organization program. So that's been accomplished, and we'll be getting that information out to parents here at the end here in the next few weeks. We also spend a good deal of time talking about the school choice legislation that's up at the legislature. I know a lot of people have been seeing and hearing about that information. So we shared what the impacts would be on Beckman Catholic for that legislation. That ESA program that's being talked about, that Student First Scholarships, it really only impacts school districts or schools that are in that very low performing category. So there's only about 34 schools in the state. When we look at our area, we don't have any public schools that qualify for that. So that program for us would actually not be impactful at this point based on how it's in legislation. But there's other things in that bill in terms of increasing the tuition tax credit that's currently available for textbooks and tuition for all families, both those in non-public schools and public schools. That would be of benefit to our family. So we just discussed that with the board so they're aware of what's coming up with some of that, depending on if that gets passed. And then also in the legislature, there was the bill passed on the 5 days a week for instruction for schools. We've been going 5 days a week since the beginning of the year, so there's really not a major impact for us other than Western Dubuque, who's with us, will be going on Fridays now, so change a little bit some transportation pieces for our families. And then we're still in our strategic planning process as well. So we're doing a SWOT analysis currently, and we'll start to work on creating goals and strategic plans based on that SWOT analysis once that's completed here in the next few weeks. And then one of the interesting things we shared with the board is some student persistence data at the college level. So we're able to receive information now of our graduates and in terms of how they do when they go to college in terms of staying in school. And so we have data back now from the class of 2016, 2017, and 2018. What we find nationally is about 75% of students who start college their freshman year continue to their sophomore year. What our numbers are showing is we're ranging more in those mid 80s to upper 80% of our students who start college will continue on to a second year. We also are able to see, because we have 4 years of data with that information now, that our student class of 2016, 65% of them graduated from college in 4 years, and the national average in that area is about 41%. So we're pretty pleased to see that our students are well prepared when they move on from Beckman Catholic to that next phase of education.
And you've had quite a bit of a student success. You want to maybe tell us a little bit about that?
So talk a little bit about that. One of our seniors, Tyler Salrin, was one of 2 students in the state who was nominated to participate in something called the American Junior Academy of Science Symposium. So it's the National Honor Society that recognizes high school students for outstanding scientific research. So I could have Tyler here to explain what his research project was, because I know he was doing something with a substance called graphene, and he was putting it on glass and spinning glass last year as he was doing that. But he was able to present his findings and speak with scientists from across the country. Unfortunately for him, with COVID, it was all done virtually. Normally, that would be a trip that he'd get to take to go to this annual conference with other scientists from across the United States. But we're still pleased that he was able to have that experience. And then later this morning, 9 o'clock, I believe, our wrestlers will be on. So we have 5 wrestlers who are at the state tournament. That's the most we've had in a number of years, and the first time we've had a district championship at the district meet. So we're really pleased with that. Our basketball team plays tonight. The boys play their first round, but second round of basketball playoffs. And then our girls are in regional semifinals tomorrow night. And that game's going to be in Independence. Originally, it was scheduled to be in Cascade, but they've looked at having it more geographically centralized. So Sumner, Fredericksburg, and Beckman Catholic will play at Independence tomorrow night at 7.
And we're not too far away from the musical.
No, we've got musical practice that's starting. With COVID, we've pushed it back a little bit. Traditionally, our musical has been in March. It's going to be April 16th to the 18th. We're looking at having virtual options as well. So if you are uncomfortable coming in person, we'll have a limited audience at this point in time. We'll see what restrictions are in place at that point. But otherwise, we're planning also to, like I said, to have virtual audience, so somebody be able to watch the musical from home.
All right, very good. Is there anything else we need to talk about today?
I don't think so. Otherwise, I know that we really do appreciate all the sports coverage that we get and the opportunity to talk about the activities we have at school. So we thank KMCH for all their support.
All right, thank you for the update.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Marcel Kielkucki, the principal at Beckman Catholic High School here on Mix 94.7 KMCH. Our guest of the day segment brought to you by Bill Thomas, Farm Bureau Financial.